To me, the real reason Baker started was like a necessity, of like, we're all right here. Like there's no other way about it. What are we gonna do? Like these guys don't really want to ride for zero. Dustin doesn't really want to be on stereo. I'm kind of like I love Birdhouse, but I'm ready for something new. It just kind of happened, We're like, let's just do something cool. Like didn't think about money, didn't think whether it was gonna suck or be good or bad or whatever. Just did it. And Jay was there at the time. Like, okay, I can do some art, I can do some graphics, and put together a couple of things, and then. That's when I just approached Tony and like, we got this pretty cool idea for a board company, maybe we can do it through Blitz, Jay Strickland actually put out Baker bootleg of this like bunch of footage he just had. I was actually surprised when I saw it and I had a part. I was like, oh, you made a whole part out of just whatever stuff? And but it kind of had some of the feeling of like that we took on for like Baker 2G, And I think honestly, like you take the group of guys that we had, put in a bunch of like alcohol and cocaine and Beagles filming and everything and just like shake it up like that, and then that's just what you get.
Come on, Drew, man, get it together. Reynolds, what is wrong with you?
I mean, now I see I'm sober 11 years, and then like my sobriety is very important, and in any way I can help somebody else in that area, that's I feel like my duty. But Baker, when we came out, was like heavy drug vibe, you know what I mean? We were honest and just put it out there, like that's what it was, And because I mean, you gotta think, like look at the music we listened to, Iggy Pop, and they were always watching like the Sex Pistols Rock and Roll Swindle, and like and it's all drugs. It's childish now that I look at it, I'm like, but that's all anybody I was around cared about. But yeah, I mean, our plan was when the company comes out that we have we drop a video like, here's our brand. Because nobody ever did that, So we thought like that's gonna be sick. Or like right when it's first thing it's out, we already have a video. So that's when we started filming for Baker 2G. I lived in an apartment on Warner Ave. They're all like mashed up together, all the apartments. Like the back of my room had like a little like 6 foot by 6 foot square patio, and there was like a fence. And then on the other side of the fence was the same thing, somebody else's little 6 foot square patio. That was Beagle's patio, and he was like in high school. And he wanted to film skating. He would always film, and we were the worst influences ever on everybody, But he'd come over and take like 10 shots of whiskey and stuff before school. We were like, this kid's insane, But like, we just started filming with him, and he had this amazing eye for keeping the camera out and catching all this funny stuff. What's in all the Baker videos, All the partying and all the funny people in the streets and everything that happens, Like if he lacks any kind of like skills in the angles or the settings and all that, he's got it all covered in some other area that a lot of people don't have. Is really, to me, he's an artist, and like a lot of videos then we're just like, here's your part, here's your guy, trick. You don't even know what they look like. That's where like I feel like we were able to really set ourselves apart, but we were out filming constantly because we had Beagle. He had this little weird gray camera with a depth lens. I don't even know what kind of camera it was. And that was his thing, And we'd just go out and just get so much footage. We'd put it on a VHS tape back home, and all the clips we got, and it would just be like hours of just everybody's footage. That was the Baker video. Everybody had an idea of what we wanted it to look like. Jay had an apartment up in Hollywood, and like he knew how to use the editing equipment. I didn't really know how to use it, but I knew how the parts should look. I would just go up there and just like kind of sit next to him and be like, okay, time this up to that beat and put this in that order and like make the parts, happen. It was like a group effort, between Jim, me, and Jay to really make Baker 2G look more like from like a sketchy, like whatever, like log tape type of video to like an actual video. It was all our vision. The Crimson and Clover one, I just like it had like this one breakdown part, like with a, like that sounded really cool to a slow-mo. There's a certain thing about music to edit to. It might not be something you want to listen to in your car, but certain songs for editing have to have a certain like special sound or like changes in them, and I just heard something about it. I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool to a few slow-mos right there. And then the Donovan one, and I never had heard that song, and Jay played it for me. He's like, what about this one for the second song? And I listened to it, and I tried it, and it was like, not exactly like something I ever would have picked, but something about it, it just kind of like worked well with the footage. And I watched it, I'm like, yeah, like it looks kind of sick, you know, and I just went with that. It's probably good I heard that and used that, because maybe it like changed my outlook on what songs would be good for skating, because to me, I always think it has to be like really big, you know, or like a lot of drums or a lot of stuff to edit to, or it has to have these like slow part, but it doesn't really, you know. Just now I see years and years later, this is gonna sound like stupid, but it's like when you listen to it, do you feel anything? You know, does it make you feel something? It could be like one sound, you know, but if you feel something, then it might work. Yeah, I don't know. A lot of that was just kind of being out at schools filming. I don't think much of that was really planned. And it was just different. Like, I think at that time, you wouldn't go to a spot and say, 25 things have been done here, what am I gonna do? We lived up in LA, all new spots. I probably saw Hollywood and was like, oh, let's pull over and let's get it. I actually tried it one time before and broke my board and couldn't get it. And then we were skating at school and I felt like, oh, okay, like today's the day. And we went back over there and got it. The kickflip no slide down the UCI hub. That was the first trick actually I filmed for Baker 2G. And it ended up being like one of my best tricks for my part. I think it was the last trick in my part. So the first thing I filmed ended up being like I had my last trick already like, cool, I'm good, you know? Everything was just going at that point, like so much stuff was happening, you know? But I knew we were doing something. I didn't know what, and I didn't really care. But I was just like, Baker 2Gs, people like it. You know? They like Baker, they like the team. I don't know, we just, after that, just kept on filming. I was filming a lot with John Miner and Beagle. I filmed a lot of the This Is Skateboarding with Beagle also. And also filmed with Mike Manzuri. Justin Regan used to film us. I always respected Miner and Mike Manzuri because one of my favorite videos was a video called Come Together. And they made that video. We used to watch that video like every day in our apartment because it had really good music and it was just really weird and it was just a super cool video. We didn't even really know them. We just knew like, yeah, this is a sick video. So yeah, we just skated together and he just filmed just like Beagle, anybody else, you know? We were just out there getting it. Somewhere in there, we moved up into that big Emerica mansion. I think that was the goal for the Emerica mansion was to work on that video and be all together and everything. Having a skate house is not the most productive way to get the team motivated, you know? Because for us, it was just like a big party. If anything, it makes it worse, you know? Because you get everybody together, especially in a mansion in the Hollywood Hills, it's like everybody was just partying like crazy, so it was fun. I used to skate in the house, like that's all I would do is just skate around. Like there was a little 3-stair, still living like I was like a 16-year-old. I don't even know, had like one Scarface poster in my room. I don't know the date of This Is Skateboarding, but I do know from probably after Baker 2G to like halfway through 22 to 24 was around the time where it was like a quick downfall of drinking and drugs. Like I actually have to like be thankful I found drugs because it brought me down quicker. You know, I'm like happy I found drugs because I probably could have just drank and got fat and just been like that for who knows how long, you know. But like the drugs really like skirt, like okay, like we're like whoa, this is way more serious than just drinking like some beer. But I was skating. I had this routine where I'd get a trick on film. This is skateboarding, and then I'd feel good about myself, like cool, like I got this, and I'd probably like go on a binge for 3 or 4 days, and then I'd feel bad about myself, and then I'd go get some footage and feel good about myself again, and then I'd go binge again. So that was like how I lived for probably 2 or 3 years. And some of those days were hard, I was clean for a little bit, and I went to Philly and just blew it. I was just like, got back into everything up there, and then I was like, I don't care what's happening in my personal life, I gotta get this frontside flip, That's why I'm here. So I pulled it together for a day or two when I did it. But at some point in there, I got sober, and then from that point on, like I cleaned up, But yeah, skating sober is just 1,000 times easier. So once I was able to like overcome those things, and I was just focused on skating and filming after that. I came back from Florida to California all clean. I was like, let's skate. And I got the half cab crook down Beverly, and then drove over to the La Cañada 11 and did the frontside half cab flip. I learned how to edit. I got a laptop and was like, I'm just gonna do this myself, at least put together like a rough version of what I want. And even though Miner saw it and he's like, it needs work, but I get the idea. Oh, the Jimi Hendrix song was super cool too, because they were like, I don't know the rights, and like this lawyer just happened to go into America and was working on something else, and he's like, yeah, I'm also the lawyer for the Hendrix family. And so he went back and talked to Jimi Hendrix's sister, who was in charge of all his music and everything. They probably saw the part, or I don't know, like she researched me or whatever and said like okay, cool, like we just want him to come up here, go to Jimi Hendrix middle school and high school and give away a bunch of shoes, because it's like a more poor area, and if he does that, we'll hang out for the day and then you guys can have it. So it was totally cool, and went up to Seattle with her. She was awesome, and like we went to where he was buried, went to his school and just hung out all day. She was telling me all these stories about how he lived his life and stuff. Yeah, it was amazing actually. She was super nice. Her husband was like a band member from Earth, Wind and Fire. And like, so it was like epic, I was like, dude, that worked out so cool. Like, and she's like, anything you need after that, let me know. You can use music in the future, and the stars align,